Joining us now, the chairman of O'Leary Ventures. He's Kevin O'Leary. Okay, first this, Kevin, we need you, that big brain of yours. Okay, stocks are getting hit because of, ahead of big tech earnings, but also no one knows what the Federal Reserve is going to do tomorrow, Kevin, whether the Fed's going to raise or cut interest rates because inflation is heating up again. What do you think the Fed does?
They're not going to cut rates. I don't think they'll cut rates again this year. I think people should get used to the idea they'll stay where they are longer. The fact is, and it's very easy to think about this from this perspective, the Fed's mandate is 2% inflation, not 2.5, not 3, not 3.2, it's 2. And so inflation is not going down anywhere near 2 for a bunch of reasons, and therefore they will not cut rates. And anybody who thinks they're going to cut this year will be mistaken. And they keep pushing out their optimism month after month, but there'll be no rate cuts this year. I'm investing under the premise that we're going to be living with this rate cycle staying the same for the rest of the year. I'm sorry, it's just reality.
Yeah, so, what's going on? It seems like, Bidenomics has been hyperinflationary, and it's turning into a triple whammy of higher inflation, higher rates, and now Biden wants higher taxes. That's going to hammer working and middle-class families. J.P. Morgan, listen to CEO Jamie Dimon saying they're not getting lifted up by Bidenomics. Let's get your reaction to this.
Other things will remain to be seen. So I think some of the American public looks at it like, what are they getting? Mm-hmm. So if you go to rural America or inner cities, I'm not sure they feel like they're being lifted up by this economy.
What do you think, Kevin? But wait a second. Biden said he's going to end the Trump tax cuts. It benefited more than 9 out of 10 middle-class Americans. It helped the working class, too.
Well, I think what Jamie Dimon just said there is that these acts that we've put trillions of dollars into the economy, notably the CHIPS and Science and the Inflation Reduction Act, there was no money in there, in either of them, for small business in America, which is rural America. Companies that are private between 5 and 500 employees, this is what they got, 0. And so that's a problem. Meanwhile, that money comes flushing out of the skies in helicopters and creates inflation, and that hurts them at the kitchen table. Also, raising taxes is not a good idea at this time because we've missed a recession and we don't want to cause one. But also, when you add taxes to the economy, you're taking away government money from entrepreneurs and small businesses in America. You're taking it away from them, putting it back to the government. It's not as fruitful there, and it hurts growth. And so you want to be kind of middle of the pack in the G20. You want to be in the middle. That's where we are right now. When you raise taxes, you become less competitive, and you start seeing corporations, particularly S&P 500, contort themselves to move offshore, and then we lose jobs. Right. So it's not a great idea at this point. I don't like tax hikes right now. I think we've got to wait that out a little bit.
Yeah, and it's blown on trillions of dollars in government waste. We saw that during the pandemic. So the president, he wants to more than double taxes on all small businesses, as you point out. That would be a nearly 44% rate. That means job layoffs. Let's listen to even Senator Bernie Sanders applauding the Trump tax cuts in 2018. Listen to this.
Next year, 91% of middle-income Americans will receive a tax cut. Isn't that a good thing?
Yeah, it is a very good thing. And that's why we should have made the tax breaks for the middle class permanent.
Wait a second. He's starting to sound like Art Laffer, Bernie Sanders. Make them permanent, have them go on forever? What do you think?
I think what we should be doing with taxes is just remain competitive. Make it so that people say, well, I can put more money into my business, or I can invest in America, or I can invest in something else, including my savings for my retirement. These are all good things. And so raising taxes is great rhetoric when you're going into an election cycle. But is it pragmatic for the economy post-election? In my opinion, the answer is no. And so we should actually start looking at policy like this, in addition to energy policy, foreign policy, border security policy. But no, that's not what we're doing. We're watching porn star trials in New York right now.
Got it. That was a great way to close out that segment. Woo, that was a doozy. Kevin O'Leary, we love you. Thank you so much for joining us. It's good to see you again. Come back soon.